Welcome back to another episode of Life and Pinstripes. I'm TJ Stolzenberg.
I'm Jake Zep.
And this is episode number 31.
Aaron Hicks to the sticks.
Ron. Wish you played more this year, bud.
We need you, Ron.
Ron. But nonetheless, was productive. And guess what? We have a loaded episode for you today.
Oh yeah, so much to talk about.
So much to talk about. Lots to cover, including who out there knows when you have a friend and when they get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, that friend all of a sudden disappears? We all have one of those.
At least one.
We're covering that in the life aspect.
Yes.
We're going to cover playoff baseball because
it
is here.
It's about time. You know how much this anticipation since like this season ended are like, oh man, I can't wait.
So much. And obviously, we're going to talk our Yanks. But you bring up a great point to start off with what we're going to first talk about.
Yes.
Anticipation. And here's where I'm coming at. The argument we had earlier was the one-game playoff. Good, not good. I hate it. James
I like it.
likes it. Now, to your point about anticipation, the baseball season is 162 games.
Yes.
It is a war of attrition with many battles. Now, I feel that the one-game playoff, yes, it is very dramatic. However, what it does is it gives the exact same level of power to the first and second place wildcard teams. Now, the old playoff way was
only one wildcard team.
One wildcard team, and they got to play in a 5-game series.
Pretty much.
So, granted, anything can happen over a series, but I know anything can actually happen in one game. But
it's a do or die in one game.
More chances for things like last night to happen when the Nationals won on an error.
Oh, yeah, you felt bad for that guy.
For those who don't know, basically, long story short, I believe it was 3-1.
It was 3-1 Brewers going to the bottom of the 8th. Bases loaded for the young Juan Soto.
Bases loaded.
Gets a base hit in the right field. 2 runs easily scored.
It's a single, by the way.
Yeah.
Right at the guy.
2 runs score easily. Then a misplay by the right fielder as the ball got away that allowed the 3rd run to score. That pretty much cost the Brewers the game and the season.
As you said, 3-1. Now, 2 runs are going to score on a single. That's a tie game. That's 3-3. You cannot, on a single, let the runner from first get all the way home. It was a rookie outfielder. He made a rookie mistake. He was trying to be aggressive. He's thinking in his mind, I'm going to save this game. I'm going to throw that guy out at home from second.
Can't think that way.
He misplayed the ball. He let it go under his glove. It did take a funny bounce, but guess what? You got to block it with all your bate because you cannot make a mistake there. You just can't.
No, absolutely not. But, however, I know how much you do not like the one-game playoff.
That's my point, though.
Some of our top playoff moments over the last few years have come from the wild card game.
Yes, the wild card game, but however, like this moment, that kid, that rookie who hit the single, now that is Washington Nationals history. Granted, they haven't been to many playoffs or made it out of the first round.
They've been stuck in the division series pretty much for the last
But to be
6
honest,
years.
Unless they get to the World Series, they're not going to care anymore about that about that amazing rookie who had that amazing big hit in a big moment.
Yeah.
It really only matters if they keep winning.
Pretty much.
So, but this is what I'm saying. The one-game playoff, I get it for the drama purposes.
The drama purposes is...
I just don't like the fact that you are rewarding. Now, it's the top 2 in the wild card. There could be a 4-game difference that the first team in the wild card could have a huge lead, and now you're giving the same amount of power and risk of one game. Any mistake made by any player can take that away.
Pretty much.
Instead of playing a 5-game series where I feel like the better baseball team will win over a series. But nonetheless, you're giving first and second and wild card the same amount of power, same chances. I don't like it.
See, I like it because it brings your top skills, your top moment, that feeling. It's like you want to give the feeling, the fear. Makes you freaked out, but it also gives you excitement. It makes you want to drive to be the best player on the team.
And essentially, you're right. Whoever does calm their nerves, play that one game the right way, essentially is going to win. Whoever can figure it out. Now, that's the thing. 162.
I know that's a lot.
It's a long season. To have one game in one moment erase your team from the playoffs. I don't know, but
even if you make it to the playoffs, it's pretty impressive. Think of it this way: you're like one out of 32 teams.
Exactly. One of the sports that not that many teams get to the dance because
10 teams.
10 teams
out of the 30,
and it used to be only 8. It used to be 8 for the longest time.
So it'd be an easier chance for you to actually make the playoffs. That normally doesn't happen.
So granted, we gave 2 extra slots to the wild card, but I still say of all other sports like basketball, where half the field makes the playoffs, and you have teams with terrible losing records.
We've talked about.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Back to baseball.
Anyway,
let's switch to the other wild card game real quick.
Oh, the
A's and Rays.
A's and Rays. First of all, 2 teams I was actually kind of freaked out about when they were actually making the wild card.
Yeah, we already said it last episode. We are afraid of the Rays because they're good. They're a different Rays team this year.
Because they find a way to sting you one way or another.
Sting.
But anyway.
They're scrappy. But difference is this year they actually have a few arms. Wow.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton, who
the former Astro, now Ray,
pitching like an Astro. What was the other guy's name?
Tyler Glasnow.
You
remember it was Glasnow and Meadows that got traded from the Pirates for Chris Archer.
Ooh. Now at the time,
it looks awesome.
But guess who won that deal?
The Rays.
The Rays big time. For those who don't know, Chris Archer, who was dominant for the Rays,
he was like the ace of them.
Went over to the Pirates and laid an egg. I mean, had a rough year.
He pretty much walked the plank ever since he's been a Pirate.
High five on that one. That was good. That was good.
But anyway,
Charlie Morton. Now, he is a playoff freak. He was not even like the number 1 ace over the Astros. Obviously, they have a loaded lineup, but his playoff stats are like an ace. And he showed it again. He had a little rocky start first time through the lineup, but then, like a veteran, smooth. He only gave up, what, 1 earned run?
Yeah, 1 earned run.
And gave it over to the bullpen.
Sealed the deal.
Now, the Rays bats, they hit some home runs.
They hit 4 home runs.
And this is my point. Like, the Oakland A's hit a lot of home runs this year. Marcus Semien. But in that 1-game playoff, if you had the A's...
They were silent.
No, they didn't step up.
Well, think of it this way. You're facing Charlie Morton.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like... It's not the team's best pitching, it's their best pitcher.
You want to bring your A game. Like,
I get it. I don't know. The 1 game... But maybe I'm even... I don't know, because then the Rays hit 4 home runs.
I know, it's like something you don't hear very often.
The Rays didn't hit home runs this year.
I know. We can have this conversation all day.
But I'm just saying.
Let's just say this.
You gotta give respect to him.
Yeah, my favorite postseason moment was Sir Didi's 3-run home run against the Twins 2 years ago.
That's a good one. Hopefully that happens again this year. Didi hitting home runs off the Twinkies. Now, real quick, before we get into our Yankees chat, I want to say, and by the way, we're very excited to talk about the Yankees, but we know we're going to go hardcore to talk about the Yankees, so we're going to switch gears and do a little bit of life aspect for you.
Yeah, because I have a very interesting topic I think I wanted to mention to you about.
What we got?
Okay, so like we said, we all have that one friend who gets into a relationship, and next thing you know, they disappear into oblivion.
So let me ask you some questions real quick.
Yep.
How long have you known this guy?
I've known this guy since high school.
So a long time.
We both tried out for the baseball team, and I'm like, you know what? We started talking to each other. We became friends. We were in the same chemistry class.
By the way, sidebar. When you tried out for the baseball team, how old were you?
I was.
Were you a freshman?
Yeah, I was a freshman and a sophomore. I tried out twice.
Did you see me there? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be at the tryouts.
Probably not. No, probably not.
Okay, I was just wondering if you ever saw me or knew who I was back then.
No, I honestly did not know you back in high school.
Damn. Because I was a damn good baseball player.
A lot has changed since then. So.
But you know me now.
Yes.
So, okay, your friend. How good of a friend is he? Or how did you think?
I would say in high school we were very, very good friends. We hung out almost every weekend. We did some fun things. But then once he started getting into a relationship, I guess since I went to college, he went to college, I went to Mass, he stayed in Connecticut. It kind of died away, the friendship a little bit.
Okay, so natural causes like a distance, and especially in a lot of male friendships, who guys don't talk as often as females do. Stay in touch.
Yeah, the art of communication for us guys is a little.
But that's
bad.
That's where you find out where your real friends are, though, because you could go. My best friends from growing up. Shout out Mikey D, Mikey Danoff. You and I could not talk for a year. And then as soon as we see each other, it's like riding a bike, we're right back to it. We're always there. And it's just an understanding. Now, if you even have to question that, there's something certainly wrong here with this friendship, because my other question is it one girl where this happened, or is it whenever he got a girlfriend?
When he got a girlfriend, he had 3 girlfriends in a span. It's just
so it was a repeating action.
It was a repeating action.
Offender.
Yeah, it's funny how he said 3. Strike 1, 2, 3. Get at it.
Yeah, you can't give him that many chances. Now you mentioned something that he asked you for something, or
oh yeah, so 3 years ago, many of you may not know this, but I fractured my finger going white water rafting in Maine.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
It was very cool. It was a very cool story to tell to the ladies out there. But anyway,
yeah, ladies.
But anyway, the point is that I broke my finger. I was coming home, obviously just upset, pissed off that I broke my finger. He sends me a text saying,
and you're expecting it to be like, hey, are you okay? Or how'd your trip go?
Yeah.
And what was said?
Well, I was 21 at the time. He wasn't. He was like, hey, can you buy me a booze for me and my girl? I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, dude, I got a broken finger. I almost swore there.
Thanks for asking.
Thanks for asking, dude. You want me to me to grab with that little finger that just looks like this?
I was about to say, did you break your pinky?
No, I did not break my pinky.
Imagine sitting at a bar and be like, ladies, check me out.
No, it was
like a bent 1-inch pinky.
No, it was the ring finger. So think of it that way.
Even better.
Oh yeah.
Ladies, I can't commit because I can't put a ring on this finger.
But anyway, the point is that he was an overall douchebag, not being...
It wasn't there for you.
Pretty much wasn't there during the times where I was struggling.
So when you were gone, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
If you came back, all he did was just hit you up for a selfish purpose.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, dude, I broke up with my girlfriend. You want to hang out, grab a drink? I want to talk about it. You know, being the good friend that I
Listen, you know, the weeding out process begins... You know, it should begin in high school, but it really doesn't, because you're around the same amount of 1,000 kids for 4 straight years.
Of course.
It's when that ends and then you go off to college and everything spreads out a little bit more, everyone goes their own way. That's where you start to find out where your true friends are.
They're good friends, and then everything depletes pretty much.
Yeah.
Even I'm starting to learn that with my college friends now.
Yeah, because honestly, and I'll even admit, I kind of distanced myself from my college friends. I had a group of 9 boys that I'm going to put the effort in and make sure I never am fully out of contact with them. But for like a good 2, maybe even 3 years, I very infrequently would reach out, and a part of all of that is on me. And it's because maybe I was going through something and dealing with it and not realizing these are my boys.
Were you just upset at yourself, maybe?
I was, yeah. I wasn't proud of myself. You know, they're all getting big jobs, and I was in the struggle.
That's exactly what I was going to say, something like that, but you kind of just pointed it out.
Yeah,
right there.
and so, you know, you're in the struggle, and you're not making some of the best life choices, and
you just feel embarrassed.
And embarrassed. So,
well, obviously, things are different
but
now.
I realized, you know, I saw them at a wedding recently, and I knew this all along in my heart of hearts, but it was great to hear them say it. They said, dude, you shouldn't have hid that from us. You should have come to us, because they are my real friends.
If they are your real friends, they would understand. They would try to help you with the struggle.
And I should have realized that.
Well, now you don't.
But now I've made up for that, and we're slowly, piece by piece, getting that back together. But like I said, these are friends I'm going to have the rest of my life. Now, granted, it literally is less, 2 hands or less, how many people you're going to be able to count in your life that you want to have in your trench if you're in a war, the metaphor of it.
Think of it this way. You go into war, who do you want by your side? Who's going to be that person that's going to protect you?
Yes, when you're suffering, when you're struggling, when you're afraid, who's that friend that is actually there in the hard times? Yeah. Now, it unfortunately gets less and less fingers. It just happens. It's life.
Yeah, literally just like...
and
it's still kind of depleting as time goes along. It's like sometimes... Does it look like a reflection on yourself, or is it a reflection on them, or is it distance, or this, that?
I think there's natural causes to an extent, that's 50% of it. It just is what it is. People go off and live their lives in very separate directions, but maybe have a reach out type, reach every once a year reunion, but still.
That's still.
It comes down to one hand, sometimes even a couple of fingers, of people that you can actually call your besties, your closest friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
I think there's just natural causes. Now I know I did the same thing. I'm asking myself, what have I done wrong? What am I doing? Is it me? But in your situation, in this particular one, I would say 100%. We don't know the situation with the guy and girl, but it's all on your friend.
Exactly. Yeah, we talk about that. We also talk about he's had 3 girlfriends. I haven't met one of them.
Ooh, very key detail. Now, have you ever asked him or said this?
I've said
this to him. You always disappear. Have you ever brought that up to him?
No, I actually haven't because I feel like now it just doesn't make sense to even bring it up anymore. Okay. Because it's obviously a constant trend.
Here's what I'm going to say for this. It could be too late, but it's never too late. For you, because what you need to get out to him, just for yourself, so you can answer that box, whether it be yes or no. Mm-hmm. But you, for yourself, should voice that, listen, man, I know we're kind of growing apart, life is whatever, you have your girlfriend and I do, but I just felt that anytime you have blah, 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 do your thing, say what you feel.
Yeah,
just because even if he rejects it or whatever, then he was never your friend at all. Maybe it'll put a light bulb in his head because friends do need to say that to friends. And you can even say, hey, I'm saying this as a friend. I don't know if you do it to everybody, but at least for me, I felt out of touch and lost whenever you had. So maybe voice it out. And at least you can close the chapter on that.
Of course, yeah.
So whatever answer.
Because already in my mind, the chapter's already sealed as it is.
But it's still, in a way, bothering you. So to have it not bother you and to have that answer.
Well, it was just this encounter I told you about. What was it? When I was working at the liquor store job, he just came in. So I'm like, hey, what's going on? How's life treating you? Like you're still with your girlfriend? I didn't get like that same vibe like when I wanted to say, hey, you want to get together? You want to do something, catch up, and all that other stuff. I didn't get that.
He didn't give you the man. He gave you the like, yeah, sure,
yeah,
of course. It's like
I didn't even bother asking because I really didn't get the vibe anymore.
See, that hurt. You're a good feels, by the way. He's a huge empath, as am I. But this man has great feels. The man is a professional feeler. So
that's like my 6,000th job right there.
And never stop feeling because, dude, life is gonna throw so many curveballs at you.
It's gonna grab you
so much difficulty.
It's gonna grab you by the nutsack too.
Pain, suffering, and all of it is gonna come relentlessly. But you never stop feeling all of it. That is the goal in life.
Can't help it.
Never stop feeling because people eventually don't want to feel that pain anymore, so they numb themselves. They either self-medicate, or they just stop caring, or they don't care or have that feeling anymore.
Yeah, it's just
movies don't excite them. Nothing excites them. I want you to never lose that, because that's the
trust me. I don't think I'll never ever lose that.
That's
you know that.
That's the child within that we all need to keep until we're dead in the grave, because that's what keeps us alive. This feels.
Are you just saying that because I'm a teacher? Child within.
No, I said that because, and especially when you're a teacher, sometimes you have brutal decisions to make. And that being said,
yes. Speaking of brutal
the New York Yankees.
The New York Yankees. The New York Yankees. Oh, talk about brutal decisions. There's like a brutal decision coming left and right.
Brutal. Now,
where do we start with brutal decisions? Because there's too many of them.
He asked a question on Facebook. He did a poll. He asked, Voit or Ford? Now, who? Who do you think? Answer.
Voit. Ford.
Voit or Ford. Now, the stats behind that were 597 votes.
Yes.
Holla. 363 for Voit, and 234 for Ford.
Ooh.
Jinx. Surprising. Now, here's the thing.
Are you really surprised? I mean, I feel like
I'm surprised that a lot of people voted for Ford, because
I thought so too.
I know Voit, like you said, is 1 for his last 35.
He looks absolutely just crappy at the plate. He's literally like not even swinging because I feel like he's afraid he's going to strike out.
Like you said last episode, he's taking balls right down the middle and he's swinging at things.
I just came up with this right now. You remember last year when people thought Austin Romine should have started instead of Gary Sanchez in the playoffs?
Right.
I feel like we're having the same exact conversation 1 year later, but with first baseman.
You know what? I agree. And you know what I also said recently? It's a reset button. The playoffs will probably be the best medicine for Voit. He can actually just be like, that season's done. And guess what? The man's stats this year were still with the last 1 for 35.
Exactly. He still batted .263.
And had 21 home runs with 62 RBIs.
Not to mention his on-base percentage was also like something 100 points higher than that.
Way better than that. Yes, exactly. So, I don't know. Ford, is he a rookie essentially?
He is a rookie. The thing is,
he's like 42 years old.
I will say one thing about Ford. He's a lefty.
Yes.
In a heavy righty batting lineup.
We are very strongly righty. Quick.
As always.
Gary righty, Luke righty, DJ righty, Gio righty, D's a lefty, Glaber righty,
Gardner lefty, Judge righty, Edwin righty,
and Giancarlo righty. So.
Way too many righties. You need that.
You need balance.
Variety. You need that variety.
Because what ends up happening is if a pitcher's in the groove, granted it's a lefty or a righty, if a pitcher gets in the groove, you gotta swap sides of the plate, because if he hits a spot up and in and he gets 4 more righties in a row, he's gonna feel that spot for maybe another 4 batters.
He's just gonna keep on doing it over and over again.
Granted, this whole year we've had some stats in the hitting department, and having all these righties hasn't been much of an issue. Now, we did have Talkman, who was a lefty.
Yes.
He's injured. We did have Hicks, who was a switch hitter.
Injured.
And I don't think Greg Bird even made it past the first week.
No, he played the first 2 weeks, I think. And he finished 1 home run and 1 RBI.
That's gross.
That is disgusting. I'm sorry, Greg Bird. But, dude, I think Mike Ford might have just kicked your ass out of New York.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
And Mike Ford 100% did, because it's now a question between Voit and Ford.
Who would have
no time for Bird?
Did you seriously think in February we're going to be talking about who's going to be playing first in the American League Division?
But here's the whole entire question. That's exactly it. The next man up, we've ridden it all year.
Yeah.
And why stop now?
No, not a chance.
Now we're going to have to rely on those veterans, because in playoff time, no matter what, like I said, it's a reset button.
As always, yeah.
So, too much success, I'm a little afraid of. I'm a little afraid of the fact that we've done so well, but I am happy we pooped the bed the last week.
You rather poop the last bed of the
I like that. The last bed you're in.
Poop the last week of the season, then do it at the beginning of September.
Exactly.
And then decline from there.
In playoff time. So, I will say, I like that, because we had a couple of coughs. Now they tasted failure a little bit, because you don't want to have only success, because then just in your mind you're like, we've never come back from.
Which brings up this: in the last week of the season, do you think they were more focused on keeping their players healthy instead of focusing on home field advantage?
It was a tight race with the Astros for the best record.
It was
in baseball.
neck and neck. At one point we had it, but then at the other point,
we had it with 12, 15 games to go or something like that?
Pretty much, yeah. And then Talkman went down, and then
we
had a couple of key guys went down.
And then we lost Domingo Herman. Huge arm to lose. Our 18-game winner. Our most consistent and successful pitcher.
Piggyback rider, pretty much.
He could have been a piggyback rider. He could have been a starter. The guy was awesome no matter what he did. We lost all that combined.
It still burns to this day, by the way.
But back to your question. The end of the year, I think we did the best we could. Injuries-wise, they kept coming. Those never stopped.
No, but it just kept on going. It just kept on happening and happening and happening at a rate that I've just never seen before.
And I was amazed that through 154 games, we literally didn't give up. And I still think in the last 8 games we didn't either. But personnel decisions and who we put out there, I'm glad freaking DJ could get his 100 RBIs.
He got that out of the way. Still batted over 325.
And then didn't play the last 2 games. I'm happy about that, because you don't want those star players losing an unnecessary game. Because as soon as they were out of it, which is basically 2-3 games to go, because the Astros had a 2-3 game lead on them.
Yeah.
It was over. Listen, let's just focus on what we got to do next.
Yeah, focus on October.
I will say this. Looking back at the 1998 Yankees.
Possibly the greatest team of all time.
And obviously, did they win the World Series that year?
Yes.
Yeah. And in the 90s, how many World Series did we win?
In the 90s?
List them off.
We won 96, 98, and 99. Those were the 3 World Series we won in the 90s.
He knows everything. And then, of course, in 2000, we had the Subway Series.
Yeah.
So we'll include that one.
Yeah.
Well done. So, in those years, this is smack dab in the middle. This is when we had the chewy center, the nougat of our candy bar Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
So, the funny part is, now, I saw them all as stars growing up, because I'm sitting there.
Well, you were young.
Oh my God, they're all awesome. Amazing. Thinking Chuck Knobloch's a star. But the older you get, you realize
they weren't household names. They weren't Sosa or McGuire.
Exactly. The Yankees who are known for having all purchased big players.
Yeah, courtesy of George Steinbrenner. And this year, did we even buy that many players this season? I don't think we
No,
did.
a lot of them are homegrown. Shout out to Homegrown. Great series on Yes.
That is a great series. But anyway.
The total comparisons and stats real quick
Yes.
to the 98 and are this year's Yankees.
Yes.
The 98 Yankees hit 207 home runs.
That's a lot back then.
This year is still a lot. This year, we hit 306. That is 99 more.
The most impressive part is that we didn't even lead the majors in home runs.
Here's the even more... Wait.
The Twins beat us by 1.
They did?
Yes, I kid you not. They literally
They have 307?
307. Yeah, they're partying right now. It's like, oh yeah, we lead the major league in home runs. It doesn't matter what happens in October.
You know what? Let them party. Let them spend their energy. Let them celebrate this. We don't need that record. People know the Yankees hit home runs. We're called the Bronx Bombers for a reason. It's not called a Twinkie bomber. Just saying. The only thing that survives
that was funny.
a bomb is a Twinkie. But I will say this. 99 more home runs this year. But here's the cool stat, piggybacking what you just said.
Yep.
The 98 Yankees had 906 RBIs. Our Yankees this year had 903. We hit 99 more home runs, but had 3 less RBIs.
How does that happen?
Now, need I remind you, a home run is, of course, a guaranteed 1 RBI.
Of course,
but how many of those were not? So a bunch of them were 2, 3 run, so a couple grand slams.
Yeah.
So think about that. 99 home runs is a guaranteed 99 more RBIs. Let's say 150 more because maybe 2-run home run, 3-run home run.
Exactly, yeah.
And the Yankees of 98, which we are trying to say, played a different style of ball. Because, yes, we're heading to all strikeouts and all home runs. But honestly, people have identified the Yankees as only ever that. Only ever all or nothing. Never playing small ball. I don't know, man.
I will say this, though, about this season. The first half all the way to August, it felt like we were playing a different style of baseball where it was just refreshing to watch.
Because all those young guys had to come in, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Ford, Wade,
manufacturing runs with manufacturing.
Which was my biggest complaint last year because they didn't do any of that.
We would get a guy on second with a leadoff double, and he would rarely score.
There was a couple times
move a runner.
There was a few times I saw that in the final month of this season.
I
will say that.
With a guy on third, less than 2 outs, would we hit a sac fly. A guy would strike. Last year we were atrocious with runners in scoring position less than 2 outs.
This year we were a lot better.
Situational hitting, we were much better this year. Refreshing to see. We're actually very excited about that. Now, I will say this. Looking at the stat line all the way down, the 98 Yankees, their starting 9 basically did hit. All of them hit.
Pretty much all of them hit in a range between 15 and 35 runs.
Well, the most was 28 actually. So.
Wait, we're talking about the 98?
Yeah, 98.
Oh, my bad.
The lowest was 10, but Chad Curtis take him off. Daryl Strawberry at DH, he had 24. And the highest, Tino Martinez had 28. But everybody was 17, 17, 19, 19, 26, 24, 24.
Yeah, but my favorite part, look at the RBI totals, though. That's the one that sticks out, in my opinion.
This supports the more manufactured runs aspect. More RBIs to the home run. Like Tino Martinez, 28 homers and 123 RBIs.
You don't see that anymore.
Well, that's what it should be. That's what we feel like it should be.
It needs to be that way. I'm sorry.
We think it's gross how Gary Sanchez had 34 home runs and only 77 RBIs.
That's nasty. That can't happen. Usually, if you have 77 RBIs, you should have at least 15 home runs.
Yeah, that's like a 15 home run slot.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge.
Oh, man.
27 home runs and 55 RBIs.
See, I felt the same way every time I play MLB The Show. If I have 10 home runs and 16 RBIs, I'm like, this is disgusting.
I gotta balance that back out and hit a few RBI singles, you know?
Yeah.
It is weird. It's okay, so
I don't like it.
That means they just had less men on base, meaning less people fought to get to first. It was more strikeouts, and the next guy hits a home run. Less walks, less beaten out singles, less small ball, less making contact with 2 strikes. And so with the way we play, we're about to go up against the Twinkies. They also hit home runs. So with our pitching staff being a little
yeah, I know, a little tough. This is why I'm freaked out.
I just don't want to go into a slugging home run derby here because, granted, I can't name a single Twins pitcher. Can you?
Jose Barrios? Taylor Rogers.
This is because I asked him last week. And
That is pretty much.
And he remembers though too.
Yeah.
Keep going. Come on.
Let's see. Sam Dyson. Oh, Sergio Romo.
Oh, I'm over this.
Sergio Romo. Remember him?
Yeah,
oh, Michael Pineda.
Yeah, Tony.
Who got suspended, by the way.
Tony Romo and our former...
speaking of tough decisions, what did you think of the pitching staff for the first 2 games?
Paxton, Tanaka, Sevy is what they came out with.
I was kind of shocked, not going to lie.
We were both thinking it was going to be Tanaka no matter what game 1.
Because his career ERA in the postseason is less than 2.
He's a beast in the postseason.
Yes.
Paxton looked a little crusty his last time out, and we all know he's a little crusty in the first inning. He has a pretty high ERA in the first inning, but yes, second half of the year that kind of narrowed back down, and he was an ace the second half of the season. But I just don't like his last outing. It was not a confidence.
It wasn't just the last outing. It was just the fact that he has no postseason experience. I'm sorry.
That too. You got Masahiro Tanaka, who's been a Yankee, who's been in big games, and who's succeeded in those.
You need the guys like Tanaka. You need a Severino. No disrespect, okay? I love Paxton. He's been great.
And we're going to need him.
But there's got to be some logic why this
I'm thinking they did something like, okay, if Paxton screws up right away.
God forbid that.
God forbid. Sevy comes and piggybacks him. Pitches, basically becomes the game 1 pitcher and hopefully tries to keep that game close.
Pretty much.
Then you have Tanaka go, and then you open the door to maybe having Happ, who pitched great towards the end.
You either have Happ or Loiza go, or Sessa.
Then they'll have a real serious question for game 4, but I think you do something and make Tanaka pitch game 5. God forbid there even be a game 5.
I don't want a game 5. At least we win in like 4.
Let's just win, period.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
So,
but win or lose, we love you guys no matter what.
And that leads us into, we're at the time limit, but guess what? We're going to ask one last question.
Gotcha.
Pennant or bust? Is it that kind of season?
Ooh, you know what it is?
That's pressure.
It's tough. It's the adversity.
Listen,
it's what we went
right.
through. The obstacles.
You're right.
All the things.
The narrative.
It's like
the narrative.
You have to win the World Series this year.
The narrative on the whole. We're looking at a Twinkies team who is more difficult this year.
Who definitely improved from last season.
Then there's the Astros probably afterwards. They're most likely going to win. They have 4 or 5 aces, for crying out loud. Now, here's a quick stat by the Astros. Big numbers.
Yeah.
1,410. The number of strikeouts the Astros pitching staff had. That's number 1 in MLB. Another number, 1,000. That's how many times an Astros hitter struck out.
Oh, what? That's insane.
That also is first in baseball. So, their pitching strikes out the most, and their hitting strikes out the least.
Well, courtesy of your guy, George Springer, as always.
That's my boy, you gun!
But anyway,
TCB.
I have to tell you, I'm scared of the Twins, but I'm even more scared of the Houston Astros.
Of course. And it's a weird year. Baseball was weird this year.
It has been strange this year.
And I'm going to come back right to what you said with this last crazy stat, because we're running out of time.
Yes.
Guess what, ladies and germs? Pitching was gross this year.
As always.
Or was hitting that much better. 4.50 was the league average ERA across the board. Oh. That is the 9th highest in history.
Oh my goodness, really?
Even crazier. 63%. To be exact, 63.01. 63% of the time was how many times a game was closed successfully. That means either entering the 9th or 8th, like a Josh Hader going for a 2-inning save, 37% of the time, the game was blown.
That's crazy, by the way.
Across the board, all games calculated, 37% of the time, the game was blown.
That never happens. That's insane.
Now,
that's crazy.
That adds to, I think, the testament to how many home runs are hit, because home runs do put a dagger in your plans. They're the ones that give you the run.
Well, it's more than just that. It's also costly errors, like what happened in the...
Ooh.
Which cost me $250,000 for my postseason bracket.
Now let him explain. He didn't bet that. It was one of those pools where you could win that if you get a perfect bracket.
I was confident, and I blew it.
I definitely want to correct that, just to say, we're not making $250K bets over here.
Oh, no, not a chance. I'm not that risky.
But after this podcast takes off, we might.
Ayo!
So,
Ayo!
We made it to the end. We're going to have to tell you the rest of this crazy nonsense
next week on episode number 32, Elston Howard.
Okay, well, maybe 32.
Or Josh Hamilton.
But tell them what... No. Tell them where they can find us, bud.
You can find us on Twitter at Life Pinstripes, Instagram Life and Pinstripes. We're on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, pretty much all those. I think what did I add? I think I had like Stitcher or something like that. That's where you can find our audio. We're working up.
Basically, go find us, hit us up,
like us, comment, subscribe, download, do whatever you want.
If you do that, if you show us some love, we'll show you some love. Not only will we give you a little shout out, but we'll also maybe have you on an episode.
Oh yes, my friends kept on saying they want to make a guest appearance.
Well, guess what? They gotta earn it.
Whether you're a Red Sox fan or not.
Regardless, thanks for listening.
Yes, I'm James Yevon.
I'm T.D. Stolzenberg. Never forget
to.
I'm saying it.
Why can't I say it?
Because I said it. It was my line first.
Fine.
And I've had enough.
Fine.
This is my cutout. This is my line.
Fine. It's all you.
No, I'm kidding. Say it with me, bud.
Bye.
Never forget to rock and or roll.
Yes.
Dude, we are getting That's nice, guy. I want to throw that curveball at because don't say never forget to with me. Only say rock and or roll with me.
Okay.
Because it's choppy. But that was